Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Intern Makers, where we have a very special guest today. We have Elizabeth Watts. She's our recruiting lead at Palantir Technologies. Liz, for those that don't know Palantir and would like to know a little bit about the company, could you give like a quick intro?
Yeah, absolutely. So Palantir is a software company, and our engineers are building products and platforms for organizations to do large-scale, in-depth data analysis. So we partner with a variety of organizations, including U.S. government agencies, international government agencies. We work with commercial clients as well as nonprofits and NGOs. But essentially what we're doing is we're trying to help them to better understand their data so that they can apply those learnings to their most pressing problems.
Cool. That's really awesome. With all the different software companies out there, what do you think really makes Palantir different?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple different aspects of Palantir that separate it from your traditional Silicon Valley companies. First, I think the impact that you can make really early on in your career as either an intern or a new grad is pretty remarkable. I mentioned the different organizations that we're working with earlier, and by partnering with those organizations, you're gaining access to really complex and data-driven problems at so early in your career. I also think what makes us different is the size of our intern program. So as an intern at Palantir, you're one of maybe 100 to 120 interns globally. So as an intern, you're working on really small teams. You're likely the only intern on your team working alongside all full-time engineers. So the exposure and the ownership and the mentorship you're going to get is also pretty unique. And I think the final thing that really sets Palantir apart is our emphasis on the impact of our customers. So as a software engineer, you're able to travel the world, actually be face-to-face with your customers, with your users, and you can see directly the impact that your product that you've engineered is having on their problem and on their workflows and their day-to-day life, which is pretty remarkable, especially since we're not a consumer company. So to have that interface with the people who are using your products is pretty rare.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I have my internship with Palantir in the summer of 2018. It was amazing. And but talking a little bit about internships, like what are the different positions that like someone can have as an intern here, like at the Palantir?
Yeah. So we have a variety of different positions, technical positions for interns of different backgrounds. So the two main internships we have are in software engineering. We have our traditional dev internship titled software engineer on our website, which is pretty similar to most software developer positions you'll find in the tech industry. And then we have our forward deployed software engineering internship, FDE for short, and those are our engineers who are actually working on the customer problems. These internships, we also have product support, product design, and our privacy and civil liberties internships. And all of our internships are open to juniors or students who are going into their final semester or year of study. And our PATH internship is available for sophomores who have not had a technical internship before.
That's awesome. Could you talk a little bit about that PATH internship? That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I mentioned, the PATH internship is for sophomores or juniors who have not had a technical internship before. As a PATH intern, your experience at Palantir is going to be just like any other intern at Palantir. It's just the interview process that's going to be slightly tailored since you haven't had an internship before. So not only do we want to understand your technical experience, we really want to learn a little bit more about how you learn, how you apply your raw fundamentals and what you've learned so far to new problems and how you learn.
So when you apply to these different positions, like is it possible to apply to multiple ones? Or
Absolutely.
How is the process?
So we definitely encourage you to apply to multiple positions. Definitely do your research ahead of time on these different roles and do some self-research, I guess, to figure out what's going to make the most sense based off of your skills, what motivates you, and what you want to accomplish as an intern this summer. But definitely once you apply, pick one location. And then when you get on the phone with the recruiter, you can talk a little bit more about the differences between the roles, similarities, and then which location will make the most sense for you. The interview process for these roles is almost identical. So once you get into the process, it doesn't really matter which position you're interviewing for since it'll be the same technical process.
Okay. That makes total sense. Now, on your experience as a recruiter, what do you think makes a candidate stand the most? Like you talk to so many, like what are the different cases or like the different things that make you like think or remember a specific candidate?
Yeah, so our recruiting team talks to thousands of candidates, especially in the fall. And I think the candidates who stand out the most are the ones who are passionate, have drive, they have a tenacity. They are really focused on the outcomes that they're working on, and they're really, really driven by making a real impact. And this comes out in the conversations we're having. So when we're speaking with candidates, what will stand out to me is when someone focuses not necessarily on the actions they took to accomplish something, but they talk about that accomplishment, why they care about it, why they, on top of their coursework and their extracurriculars, have they spent and invested their time in the things they care about the most. When you hear that on the phone or in an application, it really stands out.
That's awesome. And on one hand, you have people that stand out really well, but on the other hand, you have people that make a lot of mistakes. What do you think are the most common mistakes that candidates make?
Yeah, so the most common mistakes I see, one definitely has to be not being your true authentic self. When a candidate is having a rehearsed pitch or is telling the recruiter what they think the recruiter wants to hear and not what they really mean, that definitely is a flag for us. I think when students don't take the time to actually research the company is also a big flag and a big mistake. When students don't have questions, that's frustrating for a recruiter because it shows that they didn't really invest the time to prepare for that conversation. And also, I think a mistake students make is when they are applying for all these jobs to not take the time to tailor their resume or their application to the specific company, or even making such a mistake as not putting the correct company name in. I've seen that a few times too. So it's paying attention to detail, putting thought and time is something I recommend to avoid making those mistakes.
Okay, no, that's awesome. And there are actually like many students that prepare and do all of those things, but they just get so nervous during the interview. Do you have any specific advice for people that get nervous during interviews?
Yes, absolutely. I think the first thing to remember is to just take a breath and realize that everybody here is human, and we want you to make sure you're taking the time to pause, to stop and think before you jump into an answer or you jump onto the whiteboard to start coding.
Right.
It's okay to take that pause. I think also to realize that as much as we're interviewing you, you're also interviewing us. We want to make sure that this is the right fit for everybody so that that way you're able to hit the ground running and have success. So remember that it's a both ways of an interview. And I think ultimately, just talk about what you care about and what you're passionate about during your interview. That passion, when you're excited about something, it's authentic and everyone in the room can feel it. And that makes us excited when we know we're having a conversation about something you genuinely care about. It's really hard to fake. And it makes you more comfortable when you're talking about something that you know very well too.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's awesome. I also heard, I know about like a few programs and like scholarships and things that the company does and like different programs that you have. What are the most important deadlines that people should know and be aware of like right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So while our internship positions are filled for 2020, our scholarships are open. So we have our Women in Tech Scholarship, which is open until March 22nd. And then our Future Scholarship is open until April 5th.
Okay.
Both of which are found on our website, so definitely take the time to apply. And then when it comes to applying for next summer internships, those will open in August, so definitely check our website throughout the summertime and definitely check it by August so that way you can have an update on what the important details are and deadlines for our all of our internship programs, especially our PATH program, which has a deadline typically around October.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's awesome. And also like for these internships, like the company usually hires on a rolling basis, right? So it's important to apply sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
Right.
Definitely apply sooner than later. We also have opportunities to engage with our recruiting team throughout the summer, which is great. So you can get to know the company, and then when you're ready to apply, we can get right to business and get you in the application process. But I definitely recommend the earlier the better, since, like I mentioned earlier, our intern program has around 100 to 120 openings, and so they go fast.
Awesome. Okay, so just to finish this video, do you have any last advice for anyone who wants to join Palantir?
Yeah, so I think ultimately, in order to join Palantir, you have to apply. So definitely be on the lookout for those applications. I would say also, if you have any connections to Palantir or you don't have any connections to Palantir, reach out to your networks, reach out to people on LinkedIn. Palantirians are always eager to have conversations, to answer questions, to clarify any concerns or anything that might not be clear, since Palantir is such a complex company and it's sometimes hard to figure out what we do just by looking at our website. So reach out to people, and when you are applying, make sure you fill out the why I would want to work at Palantir section of the application process, since we do read it, and it is something that we take into high consideration when processing applications.
That's awesome. That's all great tips, amazing advice. We really hope that you take all of that advice and use it and apply it. And that's about it for this video. Thank you so much, Liz, for being here and helping us out with all of this amazing information. And we'll post some links for you to get started with the scholarships and just have more information about the company. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on all social media. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.